Why have the most powerful empires in human history always collapsed at the peak of their prosperity? This question remains the ultimate mystery of our civilization. In the long arc of human history, there is a recurring scene that tells a profound story of both triumph and the inevitable tragedy of decline. A small tribe gains power to eventually become a vast empire, but invisible cracks begin the very moment they reach the summit of their success. The Roman Empire once controlled the entire Mediterranean world, building an overwhelming system of roads, law, and military might that seemed truly invincible for centuries. Yet, that very strength eventually became the internal cause that brought the empire down from within, revealing a profound paradox at the heart of power. The army was used for internal power struggles rather than national defense, while the citizens traded their sense of responsibility for mere comfort and consumption. Taxes rose as productivity fell across the land. The borders expanded to their limit, but the central control of the state grew dangerously weak. The empire that once ruled the known world did not fall to foreign invasion, but to its own internal structural decay that had been building for years. This pattern is not unique to Rome. It is a fundamental law of history that governs the life cycle of all great human civilizations. The Mongol Empire expanded faster than any other in history, yet it fractured and divided just as quickly as it had originally grown. The Qing Empire maintained a strong central power but eventually failed because it refused to adapt to a rapidly changing and modernizing world. Empires fall more often due to an internal failure to adapt to new realities than from the strength of any external enemies. Even today, the most successful organizations in the world face their greatest crisis at the very peak moment of their greatest success. Success brings stability, stability brings rigidity, and rigidity eventually leads to a complete system collapse that no one saw coming in time. This is the core insight of our masterclass today, the profound phenomenon that scholars have identified as the success paradox. Success reinforces the existing system, but it also dulls our collective sensitivity to the urgent need for future change and innovation. Studies from Harvard and Stanford confirm that successful organizations are the most likely to cling to old, established ways of doing business. The very methods that once brought them to the top become the chains that keep them from moving forward into the new era. They grow through constant innovation, but once they win, a defensive conservatism takes over the leadership and the culture of the organization. The environment continues to change around them, but the internal system remains frozen in the glory of its past triumphs. A gap opens between the world and the organization, and that gap eventually becomes an unbridgeable abyss of irrelevance and failure. Collapse does not happen overnight. The cracks begin long before they are ever noticed by those who hold the power. Decline is not a sudden event, but a slow and hidden process that starts during the years of plenty and abundance. Consider the Roman Empire in its final days. It still looked wealthy and militarily powerful on the surface to all who saw it. But internally, citizens avoided military service, and the state relied almost entirely on foreign mercenaries to guard its borders. Politics became corrupt. Power was concentrated in the hands of a few, and the foundation of social trust completely vanished. The Germanic tribes were merely the final spark that ignited a house that was already filled with deep and hidden dry rot. The internal collapse was already complete. The external shock simply made the destruction visible to the entire world at last. We see the exact same tragic pattern in the rise and fall of modern corporate giants that once dominated their markets. Kodak once dominated 90% of the global film market, a position of absolute and seemingly permanent power. The irony is that Kodak actually developed the world's very first digital camera technology, yet they failed to capitalize on it. But they chose to protect their existing film success rather than embrace the digital revolution that they themselves had started. Their commitment to a past model of success was the very thing that ensured their eventual failure in the new market. Decline does not start with incompetence. It starts with the inability to change what is already working today. The core message is now clear to us all. Success is not an end, but the beginning of a new kind of risk. In the moment of prosperity, we must change even faster to stay ahead of the rapidly evolving world around us. As the system becomes more stable, our thinking must become more flexible and open to entirely new and radical ideas. The successful methods of the past are often the very causes of failure in the challenges of the future. Therefore, the most dangerous state is not failure, but a long and comfortable period of continuous success. Because that success often makes us stop the very changes that originally kept us competitive and vibrant. The change you will gain through this story is clear. You must learn to actively doubt your own success. You must become a designer of change rather than one who resists it in favor of temporary comfort. You will no longer be someone who stays in the present, but someone who builds the future every day. Empires do not fall because they are weak, they fall because they fail to change after becoming strong. Success is a blessing, but it is also the most subtle and dangerous trap in all of human history. This is why history repeats itself as generation after generation falls into the exact same success trap. Remember, the most dangerous moment is not when things go wrong, but when everything seems perfect. An empire loses to its past self before it ever loses to an external enemy on the battlefield. The enemy is always hidden within, fueled by the pride and complacency of our own past victories. I hope these insights help you expand your thinking and see the world with greater depth and clarity. Please subscribe and like to continue exploring the humanities and history here with Dr. James Coe. We will continue to provide the intellectual sustenance your soul needs to grow and truly flourish. I wish you only the best on your journey of growth and transformation. Until we meet next time. Let us return one last time to the ruins of Rome and listen to the silent warning they provide. When a structure looks strongest on the outside, that is precisely when you must check the foundation. In our fast-paced modern world, the speed of decline has accelerated alongside the speed of success. Agile leadership is not just a buzzword, it is the essential survival skill for the 21st century. The cost of pride is the loss of the future. Never let your yesterday destroy your tomorrow. The only way to stay truly young and vibrant as an organization is to remain a perpetual student. Our quest for knowledge must be unending, for the moment we stop searching, we stop growing. Truth is often found in the stories we tell, and the story of empires is the story of us all. Within these walls and within your own mind, the lessons of history are waiting to be used. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. Stay curious, stay humble, and keep changing always. And now, let us reflect on the key takeaways and connections from today's scholarly discussion. The first lesson is that success naturally creates systems that resist the very changes they need to survive. Secondly, remember that internal decay always happens long before any external collapse is visible. And finally, constant adaptation is the only way to avoid the inevitable trap of past success. Always maintain a healthy doubt about your current success to stay open to the new future. The stronger you become, the more flexible and agile your thinking must remain for the next stage. History is not just about the past, it is a blueprint for navigating your future challenges. May you find the wisdom to see the traps of success and the courage to change anyway. For deeper insights, explore the published works and manuscripts of Dr. James Coe. Connect with us through our tags and search terms to continue this scholarly conversation. You can reach out directly to Jungmoon Ko, Dr. James Coe, via the email address provided. Thank you for your time and your attention. We look forward to seeing you again very soon.